Hello folks, hello. We are here right now in an experimental session of Pillars of Eternity. I've only briefly played this game before, and now I am attempting to play it again. I got both DLCs on there. I think I played it like soon after it came out the first time. Anyway, this time I intend to try to make a full playthrough of it and see how it goes. So, let's have at it. New game. Normal! The normal difficulty requires strategy and efficiency, but forgives a few mistakes in combat. It is not recommended for newcomers to real-time party-based RPGs. I mean, it's normal. Normal's normal. I'm not going to do Trial of Iron. I'm definitely not going to do Expert Mode. This is basically 99% blind. Yeah, these things would probably be a bit tricky. Anyway, let's accept this. Let us see the introduction video. This session will go for a certain amount of time. I'm not doing any alarms for stopping the recording or anything. This is mostly just a practice session because I intend to try to go through several games, let's playing them. And I would like to start with Pillars of Eternity. So let's see what happens. Alright, some of the people you meet and fight in the world can be taken prisoner and held in your stronghold. Well, that's pretty freaking neat. Alright.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on the starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Man, so I'm sick and ill. That sucks. I don't want to be sick and ill. Oh well, let's see what happens. I mean, I've gone through this part before. I've literally gone through the very, very beginning. I think just basically the tutorial area. The first time around. Done. Let's see. I'm gonna go to character creation. Sex, male or female. Well, this time around I'm gonna go male. Might do a female in a subsequent playthrough. Male right now. I normally love playing dwarves. Might +2, dexterity -1, constitution +1. I mean, humans are interesting too. The mighty Oma are the largest of the Kith races and are commonly found in or near oceans. Though not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of their civilizations, such as Rautai, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength. The human, of course, humans, commonly called folk, are the most common race in the Dyrwood, the Ader Empire, Old Valia, and the Valian Republics. Though not as large as the towering Omawa, humans are known for their strength and willpower. Dwarf! By virtue of land covered and number of colonies settled, dwarves are the most well-traveled race in the world. They are commonly found in the Dyrwood, the Valian Republics, and almost any colonized land. Dwarves are known for their great strength and tenacity. The pompous elves. Elves are the dominant race in Eir Glanfath and the White that wends, and are extremely common in the Dyrwood and Adir. Elves are known for their speed and intelligence, as well as commonly isolationist nature. Orlan. Orlans are the smallest of the Kith races, though many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. Also notable for their large ears, two-toned skin, hirsute bodies, Orlans are commonly found in Eir Glanfath, the Ixamital Plains, and parts of the Dyrwood. They are known for their mental intensity and sharp senses. And of course, the one that just sounds freaking awesome, maybe I'll do it for like another playthrough, is godlike. The godlike are children of the Kith, civilized races, who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods. Though some do not consider it a blessing, these aspects may take many forms and often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes are typical, and godlike are unable to wear protective headgear, as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. So they can't reproduce either, huh? I mean, it's nifty and interesting, I'll grant you that. Dwarf! We're going to go with dwarf because that's the customary first one we always do. Stocky with dwarf warrior-esque person for right now. Mountain dwarves are... Okay. Oh man, imagine if I had to read every sub-race as well. That would take a long time. But anyway, mountain dwarves, Aptapo, originated on the continent to the east of Deerwood and have spread through the area several times. Unlike the similarly diminutive Orlans, who are frequently subjugated, the Aptapo have always directly fought back threats posed by larger Kith and opted to fortify their residences rather than move on. Mountain dwarves are common in the Vailian republics, but not seen as often in the Deerwood and Redceras. Hale and hardy mountain dwarves have a bonus to defend against poison and disease attacks. Boreal dwarf. Most boreal dwarves, Inutanik, live in the remote southern island of Nasita, where they share the rocky tundra and snow-covered forests with migratory pale elves and the coast-hugging ships of Aumaua. Like their northern cousins, the Inutanik share an instinctive love of exploration. Boreal dwarves are somewhat common in the Vailian republics, but seldom encountered in the Deerwood. Hunter instincts. Boreal dwarves gain plus 15 accuracy against any creature of the wild or primordial types. Alright. Let's see. I intend to be the hardy, stoic mountain dwarf dude. Let's keep going. Next. The class. Wow, it would take a while to read through all these, wouldn't it? With the barbarian, brutes, madmen, berserkers. Though city-dwelling people often use the term barbarian with a dose of disrespect, these rural warriors are respected by their communities for their ferocity and fearsome presence on the battlefield. Barbarians have a special, almost religious role in some cultures, but in many places the undisciplined, fearless style of the barbarian is simply how warriors conduct themselves. Starting ability, Carnage. When barbarians hit with melee attacks, they automatically make reduced damage attacks at all other enemies within a short distance of the target. Athletics +2, survival +1. Paladin. Paladins are martial zealots devoted to a god, a ruler, or even a way of life. They can be found in any culture where a fanatical group of like-minded individuals have formed a warrior society dedicated to advancing their cause. Among those aligned to their worldview, paladins are viewed with respect and admiration, if a bit of fear. Many paladins hold leadership positions in armies, mercenary companies, but in the heat of battle, their fanaticism often overrules chain of command and common sense. Starting ability, Faith and Conviction. Paladins have an inherent bonus to all their defenses. Over the course of the game, the values of this bonus may shift based on the reputations the paladin gains relative to the behaviors that are preferred by his or her order. So it gives you some incentive to make sure you stay on your particular moral path. Athletics +2, lore +1, and stats, which I don't understand yet. Chanter! In every culture across Aurora, there are chanters. Many historians consider chanters to be the most ancient workers of magic, their hallowed phrases stirring the collective memory of wayward souls around them, compelling them to generate magical effects in a kind of reenactment. In some societies, chanters form organized groups of storytellers and researchers. but in most parts of the world they are just a time-honored part of local folk traditions. Starting abilities. Phrases chants. All chanters can continuously speak chants made up of magical phrases. Phrases produce passive effects and help build a chanter's power until they can use an invocation. Invocations. Powerful magical effects that chanters can create after they have spoken a required number of phrases through their chants. And lore +2, mechanics +1, and stats. Alright. Priest. Priests are devotees of Aurora's deities and practitioners of religious magic. While all priests dedicate themselves to specific gods, priests' power is actually derived from their personal beliefs. In contrast to most paladins, priests tend to focus on philosophy, teaching, and the relationship of religious organizations with common folk. The reception of priests in any given part of the world depends largely on how their god is revered, or reviled, by the people who live there. Starting abilities. Holy Radiance. Generates a modest amount of endurance for allies around the priest. Any enemy vessels caught in the area take burn damage and may be frightened. Over the course of the game, the power of this ability may shift based on the reputations the priest gains relative to the behaviors that are preferred by his or her deity. I wonder if you could change your deity in the game. Spells. Priests have access to a variety of support and some offense-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, priests automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As priests gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. Oh, that's a nifty mechanic. Athletics +1, lore +2, and stats. Cipher. Cipher! A recent discovery in the Eastern Reach. Ciphers were once called Brishalguin mind hunters by the Glanfathans. Ciphers have the ability to directly contact and manipulate another person's soul and psyche, using an ally's or enemy's essence as the focus for their magic. Though most ciphers are still found in the Eastern Reach, practitioners of the technique have spread throughout the known world. They are gaining acceptance over time, but are generally distrusted, especially by the uneducated. Starting ability. Power. Ciphers can target allies and enemies with powerful soul-focused effects. These powers cost focus, which ciphers build through the use of their soul whip. Stealth +1, lore +1, mechanics +1, and stats. Ranger. Definitely would have chose the other dwarf if I want to be a ranger, but rangers are warriors of the woodlands and masters of the hunt. Always partnered with soul-bonded animal companions, they can be found in wild spaces all over the world. As their lifestyles often tend toward independence and isolation, it is rare for rangers to become an integral part of a large fighting force, though they are often employed as scouts and guides. Starting ability. Animal companion. All rangers share a strong bond with an animal companion. The companion fights at the ranger's command and is extremely valuable for its ability to run interference. Animal companions don't do much damage, but they have high damage reduction. The link between the ranger and companion is powerful. If one goes down in battle, the other suffers as well. Stealth +1, survival +2, and stats. Same armor. Druid. Animist at heart, druids tap into the spiritual power that flows through the simple living things of Aurora, plants, animals, and sometimes even living stone. While not necessarily religious, druids do have a reverence for the natural world and a keen interest in understanding its mysteries. In most cultures, druids are understood as a sort of primal magician, but among the Glanfathans, Naisitaiki, and many rural cultures, they may have high positions of influence and authority. Starting abilities. Spirit Shift. All druids have mastered one animalistic form. These forms give the druid strong melee abilities and grant an additional power while the druid is shifted. Spells. Druids have access to a variety of offensive and some support-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, druids automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As druids gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. Lore +1, survival +2, and stats. The rogue has the same armor too. This is a very common armor set. Rogues are vicious killers, feared for the brutality of their attacks. They can be found as often in dark back alleys as the heart of battlefield skirmishes. Though unpredictable and undisciplined, rogues are commonly used as shock troops, or as part of a surprise assault, their withering attacks breaking enemy ranks and morale. Rogues tend to congregate in larger numbers in cities where they can be steadily employed as mercenaries or hired muscle. Starting ability: Sneak Attack. Applies bonus damage to the rogue's ranged and melee weapon attacks when the target has any of the following afflictions: blinded, flanked, hobbled, paralyzed, petrified, prone, stuck, stunned, or weakened. It also applies to any target the rogue strikes with a weapon within the first 2 seconds of combat. Stealth +1, Mechanics +2, and Stats. Fighter! Fighters form the front line of disciplined armies across the Eastern Reach. Though they are most commonly found in cultures with an organized martial structure, fighters can also be encountered as wandering mercenaries, bodyguards, and other types of sellswords. The common element that unifies fighters is their heavy focus on endurance and melee defense. Starting ability: Constant Recovery. Fighters continually regenerate endurance at a modest rate during combat. Athletics +1, Lore +1, Survival +1, and Stats. Wizard. The masters of academic magic, wizards are students of arcane traditions that stretch back beyond the boundaries of recorded history. Wizards are a highly organized group, often forming academies or guilds devoted to research development in magical studies, and tend to favor environments where inquiry, experimentation, debate, and the dissemination of knowledge are encouraged. Many accomplished wizards eventually become known for their eccentricity, their egos, and their unquenchable interest in all things arcane and occult. Starting abilities: Arcane Assault. Mid-range attack that hits a small area for raw damage and leave targets dazed. I can mouse over these things. Spells. Wizards have access to a variety of offensive and personal defense spells. Unlike priests and druids, wizards learn individual spells that they store in and cast directly from their grimoires. Grimoires can only hold 4 spells of each spell level, which motivates wizards to keep multiple grimoires for different needs. Interesting. Every 2 levels, wizards gain access to an additional set of spells. However, they can automatically learn 1 spell of any level they can access each time they advance. Wizards also have the option of learning spells from grimoires they find or buy. Initially, their spells can cast a limited number of times per rest. As wizards gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. Lore +2, Mechanics +1, and Stats. And finally, Monk! Monks belong to a variety of fighting orders that have sprung up in Ixamil and the Eastern Reach over the past few centuries. While many monastic orders can trace their teachings to the enduring founder, Tlatok, individual organizations vary greatly in their focus, morality, and ethics. Common folk respect the incredible discipline of monks, but see them as an odd, unpredictable bunch who may not be entirely sane. Even mercenaries and other adventurers aren't sure what to make of them. Starting ability: Transcendent Suffering. When monks have no weapons equipped, their unarmed attacks are exceptionally powerful, and they continue to increase in damage as they gain levels. Wounds. As monks are damaged, their pain generates wounds. Wounds can be used to power many of the monk's special abilities. Stealth +1, Athletics +1, Survival +1, and Stats. Well, we're going to go with Fighter, the simple one. We can choose either Knockdown or Discipline Barrage. So it's like ranged or... I think accuracy, actually. Can be treated for melee as well. But I like Knockdown. What's a star mean? Highly recommended for fighter, huh? Might. Might represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. During interactions, it can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing, as well as the fortitude defense. 6% damage and healing, plus 4 fortitude. Constitution is a combination of the character's overall health and stamina. Although it is not used much in interactions, it is sometimes checked to withstand pain and endure physically taxing ordeal. In combat, it affects maximum health and endurance and contributes to the fortitude defense. Highly recommended for a fighter. Dexterity. Dexterity is an abstraction of character's hand-eye coordination, balance, and overall grace. In interactions, it can be used for sleight of hand and fast reactions. In combat, it affects the character's action speed with all attacks, spells, and abilities, and contributes to the reflex defense. Dwarves are not good with dexterity. Perception represents a character's senses as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. In interactions, it can be used to catch someone in a lie, to make an observant comment about their appearance, or to notice something happening in the background. In combat, it contributes to accuracy, the reflex defense, and grants a bonus to interrupt. Intellect represents a character's logic and reasoning capabilities. In interactions, it can be useful for deduction, sudden realizations, and problem solving. In combat, it contributes to the will defense and influences durations and areas of effect for all abilities and talents. Resolve. Resolve reflects a character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. It can be useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. How low can this go? Okay. So I can lose points and stuff. See, I don't know too much about what is the optimal take on these things. I'm probably not going to go too low on any one particular thing. So it is a 1-to-1. Okay. I'm going to have high resolve. I'm going to have high constitution. I'm going to have high might. I don't know if I should take away anything from here. I mean, I can go full dum-dum, but... That'll be somewhat intelligent. Except area of effect. I mean, it seems like it'd be a freebie, but I have a feeling there'd be role-playing reasons to take into, like there usually are. Honestly, I have no clue if these are a good stat allocation. I'm sure many people would think, oh my gosh, that's so terrible. Ah! Culture! I'm probably not going to read through all these. Oh, we'll see. Maybe I will. Ader. The Ader Empire is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. It is centered around the equator and has a tropical climate. Though the Empire has colonies in numerous areas of the world, Greater Ader is at its heart and houses the majority of its human and elven nations. Deadfire Archipelago, consisting of the nation of Nasitak, dozens of Amao settlements, and hundreds of lawless pirate-infested islands that stretch along the southern sea, Deadfire is home to boreal dwarves, Omoa, and a mixed variety of other races. Deadfire Archipelago is the last stop for anyone headed east. A multitude of monstrous sea creatures infest the ocean beyond, making travel virtually impossible. Ooh, scary. Ixamital Plains. Located to the northeast of Air Glanfath, the Ixamital Plains are a large expanse of fertile savannas and are extensively farmed by human and Orlan residents. The Ixamital culture is one of the oldest in the world, though one of the least imperialistic, having spread out little over the past several thousand years. That doesn't sound like a dwarven place. Huh, look at this. Old Valia. Once the crown jewel of the southern seas, Old Valia is now the crumbled remnants of an empire of warring merchant nations, counting many humans and dwarves among their ranks. The Old Vailian countries are still forces to be reckoned with and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. Oh, there's stats result to these things too? Interesting. Rautai. Dominated by the Amawa nation of Rautai, the Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them Amawa, Orlan, and Dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are some of the most advanced colonial settlements in the east. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them, though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. This sounds dwarven. The Living Lands. The Living Lands is the mountainous region of Northern Island renowned for its a large northern island renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. Its weather is unpredictable and its ecosystems vary dramatically from one valley to valley, or from valley to valley. The Living Lands are home to an assortment of races and a variety of colonial and independent settlements. That's another contender. Now look at this. The White That Wends. A large cracked southern expanse of polar ice. The White That Wends is home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts, and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the White, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other to survive. So this is definitely a contender. Aether is possible too. So when I chose Mountain Dwarf, are common in the Vailian republics, a mercantile and former colony of a large, more ancient nation. I think a map would be useful here. Colonial nation founded by settlers of the Aether Empire following a series of conflicts. Aether became independent in 2672. So I don't think I'll be from Aether. I think I'm going to go with this one. Alright. Appearance. Let's do this. Your days have been marked by lavish meals, extravagant parties, and conversations peppered to talk a degree of bloodlines. Blatant battle is your way of life. You solve your problems by pulling out your weapons and applying force. Most likely. You never quite fit in no matter where you go. Each new town is just a place to rest briefly before moving on. I don't think so. You made a name of yourself as a troublemaker, disrespect for authority, and a lack of care regarding the rules and recurring themes of your life. I doubt I'm a hunter either. You live for the thrill of the chase, whether for glory or for sustenance. You have made your living taking lives of wild creatures. A slave, huh? You've never known freedom. Shackles and chains have bound your existence, and someone has told you what to do your entire life. Your life has been spent in the study of your craft. You trained and prepared, hoping to hone your skills and ply your trade. You traded goods from all over the world, pairing items with buyers of all kinds. Each kernel of information is your precious metal, and time you don't spend learning is time wasted. Interesting how these both give you the exact same bonus, +2 lore. Interesting also how mercenaries get +1 lore. Slave would be the one that would be most useful, but I'm probably going to go mercenary. Three heads to choose from. Wow, really? Aren't many dwarven portraits, are there? Wow, it looks nice if I had made a character like that. These are probably female dwarves. I guess not many people would play dwarves, and that's why there wouldn't be many dwarf portraits. Is there a beard that gives me anything like that? It's too bad. Too bad I can't get a little sliver of gray in there. That'd be nifty. Anyway, it's got full mustache. And, I mean, that's a possible beard. Oh, it's gotta be full beard. Come on, full beard. What hair colors are there? I mean, it looks like it could have a bit of gray in it. That one looks pretty good. I think I might go with that one.
Hey there.
Now I am the leader of the group.
Good one.
Ah!
That's benevolent.
I'm here. I'm flattered.
Ah!
Nice and slow. Follow me.
That's a possible one.
Well, now I am the leader of the group.
I still like that one.
Let's go.
Those two are good.
My eyes are peeled.
No.
I'll lead the way.
No.
Attack.
Let's keep quiet.
No.
Oh?
I shall lead us.
No.
Let's go.
Nothing will slip past me.
Let's go.
Yeah. Follow me.
Let's go.
Nice and slow. Yeah. Follow me.
Let's go.
Or
Easy does it.
Watch and
no.
learn.
So it's either this one.
Kill them all. A blade in the dark. Yes. Now I am the leader of the group.
Stoic. We're going stoic. Enter the name! Fallon is his name. It's always what I name my dwarf. Fallon. Sometimes pronounced Phelan, but I like Fal better. Alright. We are done. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks.
Definitely don't want to do that.
Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, of course. In which case you'll be dead in a day.
Oh, that's not good.
There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry, about the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
He nods in your direction. Sparfle nods and slides the worn bow over his shoulder. So, where would I find these berries? What are those ruins? Is it dangerous out here? I'm not going to say that. What are these if I were like more of a cowardish wizard? Sure. What are these huge rocks coming up out of the ground?
They grow
Where would
on
I
a
find
bush
these
that's
berries?
common around here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
Oh, I can ask multiple questions. Alright.
They don't got Adra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days.
Interesting. See these little rocks here. Huh.
The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
What are those ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pond, so I hear.
Characters' attributes, skills, race, culture, and sex may all open up options for dialogue. These options are not necessarily superior to other responses, but give you a variety of choices to select from. The manner in which someone responds to your choices depends on the individual personality and attitude. Okay. Who did build these ruins?
Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Alright, I'll see about those berries. I'm not going to answer this one.
Hold on.
Ask them.
Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. If you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travelers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armor-clad woman who has spent the journey's night sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
The woman looks up on her own time.
He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Bewick, we'll shelter in the ruins.
Bewick.
Dwellers be damned.
Interesting.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Alright, folks. I'm going to cut this video off right here and resume in a bit. Speak to you soon.